Hi guys, welcome back to this beautiful channel. It is me, the Chainsaw Maniac, and I'm back with another one of these videos to help you guys out with your webcomics and just drawing in general, maybe learning. And I kind of learn from these videos as well. So today I'll be talking about character perspective and posing. This is a thing that really kind of it gets me so much because you don't know the times I've struggled with just posing and perspective and trying to figure out exactly how I would like my characters to pose, the perspective and everything. And yeah, it's a thing that I'm still learning as I'm going along, and I'm pretty sure you guys kind of struggle with everyone struggles with perspective and posing. So I'm gonna give you some of the tips and tricks that I use to help me out with my posing, my perspective, and all those type of things. So I'm gonna give you guys some tips and tricks on how I pose and use perspective for my characters. So kind of what I do, you see I have a giant library of posing different characters and everything, from movies, from the internet, from other people's drawings and stuff like that. So I'm gonna take one of these and use it as my reference, which is what you want to do. This is the first trick to learning how to do perspective and posing. Okay, so what you want to do is figure out exactly what scene you're going for, the mood of your scene, what your characters are supposed to be doing in a scene, the interactions between the characters, and all these types of things. You want to take everything into account. So I'm mainly referring to webcomic or comics in general, just how you want to illustrate the action taking place, how you kind of want the action to come across to your readers and audience. So there's many different ways of doing this. And so the first thing that I usually do is, whenever I am looking or searching for a pose, what I usually do is I go through the internet or whatever, and I go look for a pose of a certain action that I'm looking for. I type that action in. Let's say okay, we want a scene. Let's take this for example. We want a scene of a guy, maybe they're in a fight. Okay, let's do that. I like fighting scenes, so let's do a fighting scene of a guy. Or you know what, let's make it let's make it very interesting this time. I'm gonna add, you know what, I love strong ladies, so I'm gonna add a nice powerful lady punching the shit out of a guy. And this, we have already our reference for this actually. And now bam, there we have a reference of a lady punching the absolute crap out of a guy. You're not going to actually just steal the characters, because that is just a shitty thing to do. You don't want to do that. But now, and all the great artists use reference, okay? Don't be ashamed. Don't be brave and try to draw from your freaking mind exactly what's going on, because it's going to look like crap and you're going to hate yourself and you're going to be wasting time. So what you want to do is, first thing you do is, you can even go on the internet here. Let me grab. Now you can go to and you can search that in Google. What do we have here? We have a bunch of references over here. We have a bunch of references of a guy getting absolutely thrashed in the face. These ones I especially like. The movement, the ones where there's actual movement going on, those are the most genuine, like not genuine, I would say. They add force to the punches. So I love these type of we have some sensitive imagery on the guy's arm over there. Let's not go for that example. Okay, but we're gonna get some what I like is grabbing a reference with motion, with movement to it. Okay, like look at this one here. I don't know where's this from. I don't want to read the title. I'm just looking at the reference. This guy said something to this guy. He's like, oh damn, that guy heard me say it. And here this guy comes in swinging at his little head. Now you can download the image from oh, this is an even better one here. Here we go. We have actually the aftermath of exactly what's happening. Oh, that's a nice one. Oh god, I just went out of it. Oh, the motion is perfect. Okay. Oh, this guy sucker punched the kid. Okay, it's not a good thing to see, but when working with reference, you got to deal with whatever you're seeing. Okay, that is what it is. You wouldn't see some funny shit on the internet. And by funny I mean absolutely insane. Okay, so we have our reference, and it is what it is. So we have a very good image, illustration of exactly a lady punching this guy, but it doesn't have that extra movement to it. So when grabbing reference, you want to go for reference that has a crazy movement to it. Maybe if you a beginner artist, you want to start with something more visually visible to your eye, but I usually like going for the poses and stuff that have movement in it, because it has that force to it. I don't know where I saved that image to. Let's just grab it from here. Here we go. Here we have our guy getting absolutely thrashed in his face for God knows what, and it's fine, okay? Because we're not insulting them. We're not really caring exactly what's going on here. We just know this guy's getting thrashed. He could have been an asshole, and he's just getting absolutely thrashed. So we have our reference, okay? Obviously it applies to what scene you're going for. Maybe you had a scene like this on hand, where a guy was just chilling, and some guy sucker punches him. And what I usually do is, you kind of just want there. Okay, we have, look at all the movement you have here. You have a really good, and if you do animation, you know about squashing and stretching, which kind of squashing and stretching is usually used to add that extra force to something. Like for instance, a ball bouncing. Let me just illustrate that with a simple ball. Oh, that's the worst ball I've ever seen. Sorry, I'm not good at drawing circles. Okay, circles are my enemy. That's the worst. You know what, let's here's our ball, and now in animation, usually this ball bounces, bam, it hits the ground, it jumps up, hits the ground, jumps up. So what happens to the ball when it hits the ground? It usually squashes. It like flattens on the surface of the ball. That it does this type of thing. So we have some squashing and stretching going on here. So it kind of bounces from here, bam, hits the ground, and that happens, and then it retains its shape as it bounces off. So we have that squashing and stretching effect, which you kind of learn in animation, one of the things you use in animation. But I just wanted to inform you guys on that, so you can kind of get the idea of what I'm going for with this shot. So we're gonna apply that to this. I love the motion, I love the movement of exactly what's going on. Here's this guy's head, so we're just taking the pose from this guy. There's his head, you can see his eyes kind of here, mouth, nose. Start doing this. Head is kind of flying this side. Yep, and there's his head. That's his head over here. Yeah, his ears. His neck is kind of, whoa, it's really bending. It's really a lot of pressure being put on that neck. This guy is swinging for the fences, trying to knock his head off his shoulders. So his neck is kind of like folding into his shoulder here. It's kind of like, kind of folding, doing a folding type thing over here. Really a lot of pressure being applied to his head. Oh, doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Okay, so that is what's happening here. And his neck is kind of, and there's his shoulder. There's his shoulder over here, and his chest is kind of out. His body is twisting in a weird type of way. from the force of this absolute punch coming through here. Oh, it's kind of, his body's kind of twisting like upward. Oh, oh, it's kind of twisting upward like this, and his shoulders kind of being pressed into his neck. Now, I'm not really being critical on the shapes I'm using to really flesh out this body, because I'm just kind of want the pose. If you guys want to study the pose, you can, but I just want the pose because I want to get my comic done fast, and you want to get it done quick, so you don't have time to still study your stuff. You can do that later. Right now, his hand is like doing this vibrating. So what I would do is I would pick a position, or you can even add this type of effect. It's like a blur effect almost. You can do that, and then just add a little bit of detail to the inside of it to make it look like a hand, but you don't have to. You could just actually just draw the hand if you really want to illustrate that this is a hand, but you can also add action marks to it, action lines to it, to make it look more in motion. And look at this goddamn, this bend spine, just bending out like this, like a S. And here's his butt cheeks. That's what you want. His butt cheeks are all the way over here. God damn, the amount of pressure being put on that neck is just absolutely crazy. So we have a very extreme pose here, and can you see the amount of force we illustrating with this pose? That's why I love drawing from motion reference. The amount of force just being applied to his neck is insane, and you can't get that from a still shot. Look at that. My god, the amount of pressure. And in this guy, and that's what you want, because in really like illustrated, this works very well for action scenes. If you and you guys know how I love my action scenes. Look at this arm over here. This guy is really pulling back his arm as it's coming down here, and then his body is just curving in. He's applying all that weight on his foot over here. It's hard to tell with his clothing. It's always better to study nude models, but you know, god damn, look at that. And look at this, look at how his body's curved here. He's putting all that force into this fist over here. This is his fist, you can tell. His fist is just coming like wham, just right in this guy's face. Now this angle is a bit off. Like I wouldn't use this angle to illustrate a punch. Maybe I'll put the camera more on this side. Like the camera would be over here, and I'll see it more from this side, because then you can actually see the first. You're more clear on exactly the action you want and exactly what's going on. But damn, this is a perfect illustration of what you want in your comics, in terms of like the forced posing that's going on here due to the force of the punch that this guy's just throwing, and this guy's leg is actually off the ground here. Yeah, I mean, you can extend your panel, just show the entire ass whooping this guy's getting, basically. Like, god damn. Woo. Wouldn't want to be this guy. Wouldn't want to be this guy, guys. Oh my god. So that's that's drawing from images searched on the internet. You see this one? What you could do is like for shots like this, we're gonna show you guys exactly what to do with shots like this. You see it has this lady's just swinging, alright, but you can see this pose. Although it's a really good pose, really good. It really works, but it's a bit stiff. And what you want to do for more dynamic shots, like really like you want to show the amount of force being absolutely shoved into someone's face, stomach, or wherever the action is being directed to. So what I would usually do is I would really curve her arm, curve it like this, and then add a bunch of action lines to show the amount of force being applied here, like just snapping this guy's head back. So I would like really just bend her arm almost as if it's a whip, you know, because the amount of force and speed that's being thrown at this guy's face is probably, if you want to go for a more direct shot, if it's not like a haymaker, you're going for a straight punch, you want to do actually an extension of your arm. You want this arm to go absolutely, what I do is this type of thing. I would do this, and I'll put like the fist over here somewhere. Like I'll make this fist like a really, I'll extend the arm like it's like it's elastic, you know. And that really you want to get the expression as well. You really want to push this guy's face to the absolute limit when it comes to showing the amount of force. You want to show his nose being thrown one side and just absolutely thrashed. This guy's getting thrashed, depending on how brutal you want it to be. But yeah, his hair is just, there we go, something like this. Like give him that really, like we did with that guy before, like his neck just being pressured into his elbow, like he didn't have time to defend himself, you know. And you just kind of want to push this arm up a bit, like you want his shoulder to fold into his neck, like we saw with that guy. So you see, when you learn from other shots, you can apply it now to any other shot that you choose to do now. And his arm is really being thrown this way, you want to throw his arm, yeah. So you see the amount of force I'm adding to this. And even if you maybe so if you want to show even more force, what you do is you extend this lady's neck this way, and you add a head like this, and they really just like she just laid this guy out. Make her head turn this way, like she's putting that's an eye right here, this is a mouth, and her hair is doing this. It's doing this type of thing. And even this arm here is really being laid back here. Like this. I'd put this arm like over here, like this, and really twist the body. Like I would really twist the like living crap out of this lady's body to really show or illustrate that force that's being applied here. Like you really want to go like crazy, man. You know, if you want to go in, you go all in. You don't just stop at the door, okay? You bring a foot this way, like she's stepping in, and this leg, I would really swing it. Maybe not swing it back. Maybe I'll leave it here. Yeah. I think it's fine there. But maybe you really want to step this leg in, like this lady just really. Oh, and you can also bring the body down a bit, like she's like hunching over, swinging this, like swinging upper. You know, you could do that. You could do something like that. And this guy's body, just really twist it out. You really want to twist it out. You want to do. You see, it's just kind of doing this. It's just kind of straight, which is fine. But I mean, if you really want to get that crazy impact from a punch, you want to twist this guy's body out. You know, you want to move his waist all the way over here. Move it over here, and then really twist it out. Like, get that twist in there, boy. Get that twist in there. You know, look at that. And this leg, you can even bring it closer in. Bring close in and really scrunch it up, maybe. Nah, don't think that'll work. You see me learning as we're going along. I'm learning. Maybe you wanna, I think you wanna leave it here. I think it's fine there. I think it's fine. You see his leg is lifting off the ground. But you wanted to actually do something like this, his leg, maybe. Like she's just pushing this guy. And you can't go wrong with like action lines. You wouldn't really show the impact of this lady swinging. You can, what I would recommend is rather a curve rather than a straight punch. A straight punch doesn't really illustrate that much, but if you had to curve this punch in actually, like this, like you curve it, make it a different color. I'll show you guys. Like if you curved this punch, like maybe like this, yeah, like this. If it did something like that, we just went crazy and just curve this punch. It really shows the amount of force being added to this punch. You really want to curve it in, like just wham, just curve it. There's a punch go, and then it's just curving in this way. So that's kind of what you want to do. You can apply this to anything you're doing, like any type of pose, any action you're doing. Mainly just for really intense action scenes, like where you want your readers to feel the force of exactly what's going on. Yeah, so the next thing you can do, the next thing I'm moving on to here is actual camera reference, which I really recommend for you. For if you like really want a specific pose, I recommend doing it yourself, like just actually posing yourself out. Grab a camera, grab the angle you want. I mean, you can really just grab your phone and try and pose for the exact angle you want. You can even do some foreshortening you want, if you want your desired effect or whatever you want, right? So I have here a picture of me. Yes, that's me right there. Look at me. I'm like a pro boxer. Yeah, and I'm kind of throwing an uppercut right here. Crazy uppercut. Now we're gonna apply the exact same thing to apply force to your characters. Let's see. This is what I'm talking about, like moving. Look at that force being shown in my arm. The strain in it, like when I'm swinging it up. You can actually see the strain in that punch, and here's kind of my other fist. See, but now, as you can see in my pose, it barely can tell anything. Like, it looks like I'm just standing with my fist up, like from this pose right here. So you really want to increase when drawing, when illustrating your comics and doing that type of stuff. You really want to really push. You want to exaggerate the amount of force being used here, because you're trying to tell a story to your audience, and they can't. If they see this, they're just gonna think, oh, okay, cool, he's punching, I guess. You know, you don't want to keep them guessing. That's not what you want to do. So what I would do is, I mean, you could perfectly pose yourself out, but I would, as I recommend, like, do moving poses, like actually record yourself rather than just take a photo. I kind of took a still image from a video I did, but I feel like I didn't give him enough intensity to this, which is fine, because you can always fix it later. Okay, you just gotta once you know exactly how, like, the poses work and where your shoulders are, where your arm is, where is it going to, what you want from the pose, it becomes easy. Okay, so now this is the shoulder. So what you want to do is, you really want to stretch that shoulder out. You really want to really lift it up crazy. You want to lift it up all the way over here, and really drop this arm. You want to drop this arm. You keep your reference image there so you know exactly what's going on, but what you do is, okay, this is the arm. Keep the volume of the arm, and you know what to do? You just drop this arm. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it low. Drop it real low. You want to keep it in the socket though, but you really want to drop that arm low. Okay, you still have the shape, you still have the volume, all good. You just kind of move that, and now you really bring that shoulder, you bulge that shoulder out like that. You bring this arm down, and now this is where it gets interesting. You just kind of do this. You do this. You really want to get that curve going in your arm. Oh, that's a bunch of weird ass curves. And look at that curve. There we go. Doesn't still look like it's not doing much. But now you have your fist here. You have your forearm curving out a bit. You can also add maybe a bit of action lines really to illustrate the force. What I would do also here is also really exaggerate your chest out a bit more. Feels like I'm critiquing my own posing, which is weird. But yeah, you really want to press out this chest area a bit more. You really want to do something like this. Really press it out more. Maybe I can curve it out. Kind of figuring out. Kind of just want to figure out exactly. Maybe not like that. Maybe you curve it out this way. Curve it out this way, like this. Something like this, maybe. Curve it in and out here. This. Yeah. Back. Paste. Really curve it out. You really want to curve it out. Even add the arm here in the back, like really showing you swinging for the fences, and really showing how twisted your body is on this shot. So swinging up like this. Yeah, I mean you could just check. Yeah, you really get that exaggerated feel now from it. Maybe I would exaggerate the arm more, maybe the shoulder area. Maybe curve it like this. Arm area, curve it inward like this. So yeah, photo reference is really the way to go for easy shots. I mean, I have this shot as well. Let me see if I added it. Yeah, we have a shot of me throwing a punch, but I have some foreshortening effects. So I'm gonna show you guys. So now we get that perspective right there. You see the perspective for the punch. Now we have some perspective actually. So now you're actually studying the exact pose that you're using here. See, shoulders are straight, wrist is up. So now we have our basic pose. Look at that, basic pose. Guy throwing a punch. Not really a lot of force showing in this punch. It's really just, it's like he's chilling, and then he just threw a surprise punch. So, I would kind of move the fist up here. Maybe push it more to the side, and then bring it down there. Over here, because no one punches like that. So there's the eyes would be around this area like this. And the fist would be swinging that way. And then we can really bring up the shoulder here and bring this thing and curve it like this, and then curve this up like that. So you see now you get, it looks more like, it looks like this added more force now to this. His head is kind of going this way, they kind of, everything's just moving towards this way. So it's just kind of swinging. It's really putting in a lot of force in that punch. You see that? So this you can kind of apply to anything, like any image that doesn't look like you really want to exaggerate your force in all your images. Yeah, that's really images that's really been meant for showing force and like just absolute power in the shots. You really want to add this effect to it, so you can really get that force in there. But that's mostly for action shots, for just posing, for pose like shots, or posing where you just like, oh okay, I want more of a slow-mo type of thing. You can use this. You can just use like a straight, it doesn't matter. You can use like straight up, just a normal pose. Like here's the first, here's the arm. Not a problem. You can do that. It's not a problem. You can there is some curving going on here. There is some curving, so there is some force. It's going really, so it's pretty decent. So you can work with this, just grabbing images from the internet and grabbing shots and scenes from movies, which I really recommend, and just studying them and going through them. You will definitely improve your posing of your characters and really help you along. Eventually you won't even need to grab reference, and you will just grab a scene from your mind and just draw it yourself. You know, it comes with time. Just practice, and eventually you'll get it, man. You'll get it. And just experiment with different types of poses, with different types of things. You just want to experiment with that. So now we're gonna get to the second part of this video, which is perspective. One of the things that I struggle with the most, and I probably am not the best person to give you guys advice, but I'm gonna give you guys stuff that I've learned so far with perspective, and it's really what you want to do with perspective is just use 3D models. Okay, use 3D models, or use recordings of yourself referencing a pose or a scene. But 3D models really help, and Blender is a free software that you can use to pose your characters in. You can even get 3D models of characters for free. There's many different ways you can go about doing this. Like, look at this. I just posed this now for a scene that I was doing. Look at that. And you can just move your camera around. Now, obviously, it's gonna take a little time to actually learn Blender and stuff like that. But there's other programs that you can use that like I think on there's an app on the mobile called Pose It, I think. On mobile it's called Pose It, and you can also use that to pose your characters. You can actually take screenshots of the poses of your characters on your phone, and you can like look at it and reference it for posing. You can add it to your computer or your tablet or whatever you're using. I'm pretty sure you can get it on tablet as well, the app, and you can actually just pose your characters. It's similar to using like Blender and other 3D programs for posing characters. Yeah, I believe if you're using Clip Studio has its own 3D models and own 3D assets that you guys can also use. So that's just built into the program, so you guys should have no problem with that, and that should really like use it as often as you can. Get accustomed to using 3D things to really bring out life, to bring out the character in your webcomics. So 3D models, I can't stress this enough, is one of the best things to use for posing your characters. Look at this, I'll show you now. There's a few shots here I used in my library, and in Blender you can kind of also use the benchmark render setting, so you can kind of get the shadows as well. So for those of you who have coloring difficulties with making shadows and lighting, it really helps. Like, honestly, it really helps. You don't have to think and guess about shadows and lighting. You can kind of just do your own thing. I mean, it really saves you time. Like, you don't have to really second guess yourself with this. So now you have your 3D model. You just shoved it into your scene, and there you go. No thinking, nothing else. I mean, look at, like, this guy is supposed to be stopping a sword, right? But obviously he's doing it very casually, so it looks like he's not applying any force. And this guy's kind of posing very stiff, like he doesn't have any emotion in his pose, but it helps for getting the thing across. So you kind of already have your base for what you need. I would recommend like learning more about actually drawing characters from perspective and all that types of stuff. It actually is better than just being handed the perspective to you, and 3D modeling can only go so far. You just want to flesh out the main idea you're trying to get across here in this shot here. You just want to flesh out the main idea. Bam, there you go. Yes, this guy's back. Is it really putting pressure on this leg over here? Can I really throw in some foreshortening as well? Okay, so now we have our basic posing ready here, and as you can see, let me just drop this. There's not really any dynamic posing going on here. Like everybody just kind of stiff, just standing around. But I just kind of 3D. The 3D, you see what the 3D helps you with is just the perspective itself. You don't want to really focus too much on the posing with the 3D. You just kind of want to get this perspective and exactly what perspective or angle you want it for. That's what it's there for, to help you with. It's not there to help you with your posing. Okay, your posing you kind of still gotta figure out on your own. You gotta really, because you still gotta really show exactly the strain and exactly what's going on. So what's going on here, this guy is stopping the sword, right? Maybe I want to use a different color, you know. This guy over here, he's stopping the sword over here from coming in. So how do we illustrate that? Okay, so you really want to show the amount of strain, as I said before. You maybe want to twist his wrist up a bit and really put his fingers in a really weird position, like a strenuous position. You maybe want to lean his head forward a bit. Maybe like just a little bit. You want to lean his head forward. Let me just grab it. Maybe lean his head forward like this. Really stretch his neck out. There we go. It's basically the same thing with the other guy. We're just applying it now to a new image. Stretching his neck out. He's really pushing his shoulder forward here. Really pushing his elbows. Everything's going forward. He's trying to stop his sword from hitting this lovely lady here in the back. And here's the sword. And as you can see, like from the reference here, you see I changed his leg up. I just changed his leg. I made it go this way rather, because he's kind of sliding in. I put the leg out more that way, so it shows more force, more urgency to get that sword. This arm, I really don't like it. I don't know why I put it there, but maybe just bring it out a bit like this. No. So now, bam, look at that. Stretching it out, shoulder maybe a bit more, and this arm like this, and yeah. So you can see it's almost as if he just slid in there and stopped this. So this guy as well, you might have to add more force because he's swinging his sword down like this. You know, there's a lot of ways you could actually do this. So you could actually really twist up his shoulder, bring his arm in and then out a bit more like this, and then the sword coming through like this. I don't know if my diagrams are too messy, but I hope you guys are getting the idea. Like, I apologize, but I mean, I just want to get you guys the idea of exactly what's going on here. This guy's chest, maybe puff it out a bit more, bring this a bit back, and then this a bit out. Is really, maybe you want to put his leg actually this way, this way, applying the force. Yeah, there you go. Maybe you want to bring in his hand, maybe like he's really the neck I think is alright. He's doing what he needs to do. But yeah, I think that's it for this video, guys. I might go more in depth in the next video and actually like talk about the lining and whatever and all the crazy other stuff, like the extra stuff. But I just wanted to share some of this information with you guys. Just maybe it helps you guys out, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. You guys can decide in the comments down below. Let me know what else. Maybe you guys need help or something else. Maybe I have some knowledge on it. Maybe I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, we can figure it out as I go along. I'm kind of learning as I'm making these videos. I'm kind of doing some research on it. I'm trying to figure out exactly how it's kind of like more of an introspective thing where I'm actually reflecting on what are the things that I actually do while I do my art and what I want to improve for myself. And I'm kind of taking you guys along on this journey, and we are all learning all together. So thank you guys for watching. If you like videos like this and you want to see more, go and find that like button and you hit that mother sucker down like it was your job. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.